Hello there everyone. Welcome back to the Effective Leadership course. Today we are going to talk about how to run more effective meetings, whether remote or in person. You as a leader will want to make the most of them and not bore your members with boring meetings. Let's get to know the models, how to run effective meetings and how to not run them. Today we're going to focus on how to prepare for a meeting and some initial tips for you to run your first meeting. Even if they are not your first, but some tips for you to get even better at them. Hit thumbs up if you want more content related to leadership. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel too. Knowing how to run effective meetings or productive meetings helps companies to grow. These are the moments in which the operations is designed, the tactics is created, and the strategy is thought out, right? Well, in theory, at least. I have already lost count of how many times I said, great, another meeting that could have easily just been done in an email. And it's difficult even to tell the difference on a daily basis because sometimes we think that we need to discuss a matter that seems urgent, and when we call the meeting, we might get lost. And in the end, in the process of explaining why the meeting is taking place, we may find the answer we were looking for. Some of the most common complaints are people arriving late, unclear meeting objectives, and poor time management. Still, there is a great need to talk face to face. A meeting is successful when all participants know what to bring to the table and that it's vital for their work. It's not an impossible task. That's what we will see in today's lesson. How to prepare for a meeting. In my first leadership role course, I created a table that I have built with the most common types of meetings that a leader will host in an attempt to cover as many departments and situations as possible. Then I comment on how to run effective meetings specifically for some types of meetings for leaders. I divided it into 6 types of meetings and with 5 different audiences. The audiences are individuals, the team as a whole, the company as a whole, customer and suppliers. The 6 types of meetings are updates, idea generation, feedback, sales, problem solving, and team building. When you cross the types of meetings with the types of audiences, you have a specific meetings formats. There we have 16 meeting formats. I will not go into each one of them as they are already described in my leadership course. Here I will give some tips that end up permeating all formats. So you must ask yourself, do you really need a meeting? Obviously, the first question to ask is whether your situation really needs a meeting. Does it have to be a recurring meeting, once a month, a week, early? Is it just a status update or project launch meeting? No matter the subject, every type of meeting has some chance to be held asynchronously, even feedback sessions. There are even situations of feedback that you can do via text. To better learn how to run effective meetings recurringly, such as weekly updates with your team, you might consider sending a part of the content to others prior to the meeting or hosting it with parts of your team at a time. So the necessary people are only at the meeting when they are really needed, when they really need the information. When I had a larger team, I split the meeting because it was taking up too much time of certain people with matters they did not need to hear. The fun thing is that in a first analysis, I reasoned that yes, they needed to be there. After all, it is information about the company's performance, right? Except that they often just listened without participating at all. What did I do? I created a better presentation format and used it for them to read later. The result, nobody read it and it didn't make a difference. The only meeting that I have not found how to replace by other means is the one-on-one. Individual meetings with people to follow up on specific projects and tasks. Everyone on my team has a one-on-one with me. Set a clear schedule. The golden rule for an efficient meeting is don't waste people's time. It applies to you and others. To begin with, it is vital that the meeting has an objective. Set one before you start. Ideally, you should have up to 3 goals and at most a maximum of 5. More than that, you won't be able to focus an adequate time slot for each. This way, you will be able to lead the meeting to a close and also help your team better understand how they can participate and contribute. Examples. Define which platforms to use for customer relationship management, respecting the criteria A, B, and C. Define responsibilities for the preparation of the proposal for the possible client X. Create some solutions for the issue our customer Y had and who posted on Facebook complaining. Cool? Always make it very clear. Based on the goal, we were able to define the agenda. We will have an introduction to the problem or issue that the meeting revolves around. Is there any kind of reading the person needs to do first? Will there be a brainstorm, or should people arrive with ideas already thought out? Will there be a prioritization part or collective sense-making? When it's a more important meeting, you can send this agenda to your team, explaining that the agenda will consist of... For recurring meetings, always have a basic structure, because I know that you will not create a new agenda from scratch every time. Then you can add or work on this template according to what's happening in the week. During the meeting, it can be practical to keep the agenda on display so you can follow the schedule yourself or not, and your participants have a better idea of what's happening. At these weekly meetings, I always had a presentation with the agenda. Seriously, it looks like a lot. It's just bureaucracy or for people who are control freaks, but it really helps. Your meetings will be much more productive, and it doesn't even take that much time to create a schedule. Make it organized. Just to give a quick example, there is nothing more amateurish than being late for a meeting, and I speak of this from the position of someone who suffers a lot with being on time, because I am disorganized in this respect myself. Also, respect everyone's schedule in the meeting by ending it on time. If you do not have time to reach a conclusion of the meeting, you can schedule a next one to do so, as long as they are all on board. By not finishing a meeting at the agreed time, you end up interfering with other people's commitments. Additionally, if you decide to end the meeting without reaching a conclusion, it can have the unwanted, the undesired effect of people thinking the meeting was for nothing, when in fact it may have been useful even if it has not actually met its goal. It may be important to stress this one out. The secret is not to stray too far from the points. I know it happens in reality. It's normal. However, your role will be to constantly get back to the focus. It is good practice to take a look at the meeting's points from time to time so you know how the meeting is going. How about that? In the next lesson, we will discuss how to run effective meetings remotely and the two main differences between in-person and remote meetings. Cool? Make sure you are subscribed to my channel to follow the lessons, like this content if you think it has helped you, and share it with your colleagues and coworkers. Always look both ways. See you in the future.